Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Welcome to the fourth Sunday in Lent. Whether in body or in spirit, please rise and join me in our call to the people. We come to you, O God, to thank you for what is good.
We come to you, O God, to cry out for what is wrong.
We come to you, O God, to ask for help and restoration.
We come to you, O God, with aching hearts and glad souls.
Let us worship God. The Christ in me greets the Christ in you, and the Christ in you greets the Christ in me. Let us greet one another in the love and the peace of Christ.
here. You ain't gonna sit down and have to get up. No way. Okay. Everybody's still greeting. Everybody's still passing the peace. There we go. Good morning, church. Good morning. It's a beautiful morning, isn't it? Oh, I love when the redbuds blossom. That's my favorite blossom. And as I was driving in this morning, I said, you may not see this again. You don't know that. Nobody knows. So I very much appreciate it. Grateful to the Creator, grateful to the universe for this morning and for you and your happy, smiling faces. My name is Valerie Jackson, and I am the Chair of Worship and Education, and I have the privilege of bringing to you the announcements this morning. So, welcome to worship, those who are here, those who are online at First Congregational Church of St. Louis, and those who are worshiping with us here in the sanctuary and online, or if you're visiting with us and would like to share your information so we can keep in touch. We will not share this information with anyone else, so you don't have to worry about your information being sold. But there is a Connect card that is in the pews, and if you'd like to share your information, please complete that Connect card and drop it in one of the boxes right outside the door where we also collect our offering. And if you have an offering that you would like to give to this church, you may also drop that in one of these boxes outside the door. Or you can hand the card, but not your offering. It's not that I don't trust ushers. It's just good to be safe. Sorry, that's not what I meant. But you can drop your cards, your Connect cards, in the boxes, but please, or give it to the usher, but please, just for security's sake, drop the offering in the boxes. And we have lots of announcements, but many of them are also in the bulletin. So would you please see the bulletin for your announcements after you listen to me here. Today, after worship, the women of Whiteown are meeting at 11:30 at Marty Black's house. Marty, raise your hand. I don't want to give her address over the internet, but Marty, if you don't know where Marty lives, please check with Marty to get her address. We're meeting at 11:30, and it's a bag lunch. So bring your own lunch. Doesn't have to be in a brown bag, but bring your own lunch. And we are just here. Marty will provide beverages and dessert. And if you'd like to have the full 2025 schedule, the flyers are either available at the entrance of the sanctuary. So if you want that full 2025 schedule, check there. So as we move through Lent, we are nearing Holy Week, which begins on April the 13th with Palm Sunday to Easter. And that's usually a blessed week for the Christian church. We will also, we have a Palm Sunday, we have a pageant on Palm Sunday to share during the worship service. And we will also have a Good Friday worship service on April the 18th. And of course, Easter worship, the big day in the Christian church, is April the 20th. So please join us Holy Week for Palm Sunday, join us again for Good Friday, and join us again for Easter Sunday. After worship on Easter, we'll have an Easter egg hunt. We have an Easter egg hunt mostly for the children, but if there are children at heart, you can join in as well. Membership and Fellowship, who is hosting that Easter egg hunt, they're asking us to bring items, to individually wrapped items to put in the plastic Easter eggs. You know, we're not doing, I don't know if we've ever done eggs, but surely we won't do eggs this year. But, so they're looking for things. Can you bring them in, turn them into the church office, drop them off at the church office by Palm Sunday, which is the 13th. So we would appreciate your generous contributions. Today, I need to make an announcement. The fundraiser, the annual fundraiser, is on May the 3rd. You've seen the save the dates in the bulletin, and that's a Saturday. So we would like everyone to come out and participate. This year, we're doing something different again. Last year, we did something different because people are getting kind of tired of trivia night, so we might go back to that again at another time. But this year, we are doing what we call Family Feud night. How many people have seen the game show Family Feud? Yeah, okay, quite a few. So don't try to steal any answers now, you know. But yes, we are having a Family Feud night. So it is $35 a person to attend, and it is $280 a table, and it seats a table of 8. So the sooner you get yours in, you are assured a seat. Our host, Richard Dawson, will be our very own James Mellish. He will be the host of Family Feud. So we would like for you to be sure to come out, have fun, enjoy yourselves. I also want to say that for those of you who have given in the past, we really appreciate that. And if you've given in the past, if I haven't already called you, I will probably call you again this week, asking for things for the donations, monetary, as well as food, as well as things for the auction. Once again, we will have silent auction, so keep that in mind. If it's something that you want to give and you want to give to the church, please let us know. Next week, we will have the cards where you sign up and say how many people. So get your table together. Get your table together. Go around now before they take your best game player. All right? Appreciate that. Our church appreciates that. Last but not least, of most importance, today we are receiving the One Great Hour of Sharing offering, and it is one of the 4 special mission offerings of the United Church of Christ. So we are giving to the United Church of Christ. This Lenten offering supports partners worldwide with ministries that fund health, they fund education, they fund agricultural development, emergency relief, refugee ministries, and both international and domestic disaster response. And we know that more and more those are very much needed. So if you could so generously, and I know that you already are, and this is a season where everybody's asking you for money. I understand that. But if you can give to the One Great Hour of Sharing offering, that will be wonderful. And the theme of this year's One Great Hour of Sharing offering is Be the Light. You know, we've had that sign up. We had that sign up outside for a long time, Be the Light. And a reminder that through our generous giving, we can shed light in places where circumstances make it difficult to imagine a future with hope. We create possibility for people. I love that. We create possibility for people. We support life-giving recovery efforts when disasters devastate communities and overturn lives. We empower partners around the globe in their labors, and it is obvious that this announcement came directly from the UCC, and probably every UCC church in the country is hearing this message, and so are you. So please make all checks out to First Congregational Church. Remember, make your offering check out to First Congregational Church, but in the memo field, put OGHS, which is the acronym for One Great Hour Sharing. So place your offering in an offering box, or you may give online, which a lot of us do. Just go online and give if you don't want to give a check or cash. So that concludes the announcements that I will make, but please see your bulletin for more happening in our community. And now, with all of these opportunities for growth and connection in mind, let us continue. Let us continue in the spirit of worship, and let us center ourselves in God's presence. Amen.
As we continue our journey through the Lenten season, following the teachings of Jesus as told by Luke, chapter 15, 1 through 3, and 11 through 32. Now all of the tax collectors and sinners were coming near to listen to Jesus, and the Pharisees and scribes were grumbling, saying, "This fellow welcomes sinners and eats with them." Then Jesus said, "There was a man who had 2 sons. The younger of them said to his father, 'Father, give me the share of wealth that will belong to me.' So he divided his assets between them. A few days later, the younger son gathered all he had and traveled to a distant region, and there he squandered his wealth in dissolute living. When he had spent everything, a severe famine took place throughout the region, and he began to be in need. So he went and hired himself out to one of the citizens of that region, who sent him to the fields to feed the pigs. He would have gladly filled his stomach with the pods the pigs were eating, and no one gave him anything. But when he came to his senses, he said, 'How many of my father's hired hands have bread enough to spare? But here I am, dying of hunger. I will get up and go to my father. I will say to him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and before you. I am no longer worthy to be called your son. Treat me like one of your hired hands.' So he set off and went to his father. But while he was still far off, his father saw him and was filled with compassion. He ran and put his arms around him and kissed him. Then the son said to him, 'Father, I have sinned against you and against heaven. I am no longer worthy to be called your son.' But the father said to his slaves, 'Quickly, bring out a robe, the very best one, and put it on. Put a ring on his finger and sandals on his feet, and get the fatted calf and kill it. Let us eat and celebrate. For this son of mine was dead and is alive again. He was lost and is found.' Then they began to celebrate. Now his elder son was in the field. As he came and approached the house, he heard music and dancing. He called one of his slaves and asked, 'What was going on?' He replied, 'Your brother has come, and your father has killed the fatted calf, because he has got him back safe and sound.' Then he became angry and refused to go in. His father came out and began to plead with him. But he answered his father, 'Listen, for all these years I have been working like a slave for you. I have never disobeyed your command, yet you have never even given me a young goat so that I might celebrate with my friends. But when this son of yours came back, who has devoured your assets with prostitutes, you killed the fatted calf for him.' Then the father said to him, 'Son, you were always with me, and all that I have is yours. But we had to celebrate and rejoice because this brother of yours was dead and has come to life. He was lost and has been found.'"
While doing some research and studying, being prayerful around this parable that I'm sure we are all are very familiar with, I came across an article discussing the purchase of steak with food stamps. And the article actually is very powerful, and it highlights for some this rare indulgence can represent a small reclaiming of dignity amid the harsh reality of what poverty looks like. Even though the average taxpayer's contribution to welfare is minimum, there's still ongoing criticism about who deserves assistance. And with that, I decided I wanted to go online, and I went to the website, USDA Food and Nutrition Services, and under the Department of Agriculture, I wanted to understand the SNAP benefits better. What's allowed, what's not allowed. I soon learned that fruits and vegetable, meats, poultry, fish, dairy products, bread and cereal, and other foods such as snack foods and seeds and plants, which produce food for the household. They're all approved. I found very interesting, for what is not approved is the purchase of luxury food. Luxury food would be a hot meal. Luxury food would be, you're not approved with the SNAP benefits to go out and to eat. Not even the drive-through with a hungry kid in the car. It's not approved on the SNAP card. It got me thinking about the SNAP recipients and how policies often reflect judgment rather than empathy. I couldn't help but to be reminded that Jesus' message might call for a more compassionate approach than restricting food choices for those that are in need. As strange as it might sound, this week's parable seems to advocate for, and it's a real crazy thing I'm getting ready to say, but it advocates for churches to consider how to host a free steak dinner as a gesture of love and community support, rather than shaming those who are on assistance. Could there possibly be in this big, bold UCC denomination a church that would be able to open their doors and offer a luxury meal? We are reminded that in this story, the Father serves only the finest cut of meat, the fattened calf, to truly honor and celebrate those who are often marginalized. And I know we've heard this story several times, and it's hard for us to grasp that somehow this son could be marginalized. Though this narrative is commonly referred to as the parable of the prodigal son, the label prodigal, meaning wastefully extravagant, doesn't truly capture the complexity of the young man's experience. While he does make some poor choices, as we all have in our life and will continue to do, Luke's Jesus summarizes it in just one line. He squandered his prosperity. The majority of the story focuses instead on his return home, set up against the backdrop of the harsh realities he faced, including a severe famine that impacted not just him, but many others as well. The broader context highlights the systemic challenges that contributed to his struggles. Somehow, this fourth Sunday in Lent, at least I was, and it is my hope you as well, will feel the need to reflect and offer, what does that look like? Consider, what does that look like? You venture out on your own, which we all do. Isn't that what we want for our children? And you make a mistake. And in that mistake, you don't know if you're going to receive compassion or judgment. The young man toiled hard as a hired man for an unknown length of time, yet despite his relentless efforts, the famine and the status as an outsider and a nobody in this scenario kept him from ever improving this situation. We learned that he was glad, he was happy to fill himself with the pods that the pigs were eating, and no one gave him anything. These thoughts reflect not a life of abundance, but rather the harsh existence faced by an individual caught in a difficult circumstance, whether due to his own choice or the systemic factors beyond control. When I read this parable in this season, what I resonated with is the urgent need for empathy and support for those who are grappling with unmanageable realities. This is a young man who, recognizing his struggles, chooses to return home. Listen, not with the dream of reclaiming his former wealth, but with the humble hope of earning a place as a hired hand in his father's house. You know what that could possibly feel like, to return home and say, I am willing to take the lowest position, where he knows the laborers, they are treated with dignity and respect that he has not experienced for some time. And yet when he approaches his father empty-handed, tells him, welcome. Jesus tells us of a welcome that transcends expectations, celebrating him with warmth and with generosity that is not short of royal. This powerful moment emphasizes the themes of compassion and redemption and non-judgment and unconditional love that should be extended to all individuals regardless of their past. In terms of cultural expectations, the landowner has no obligation to his son. He believes he's already fulfilled his role by dividing the assets. However, that father enthusiastically rushes to meet him, and he's disrupting the cultural norms. He's breaking the hierarchical conventions of age and status and what people think. He's putting his own reputation at risk, as people likely will talk about him and says, oh, look what your son did. And that's not how we do it. This act of love and acceptance challenges traditional beliefs about who is in and who is out. It invites us to reconsider what it truly means to welcome someone back. In the context of abundance, where obligation is absent, Jesus portrays a father who is wholeheartedly embraces his child, offering him everything. So many times I have gone to the grocery store, and there was someone who had a SNAP card and someone who was so impatient with them because they have the what can be purchased and what cannot be purchased. And so now you use your SNAP card. And once you use your SNAP card, now you have to turn around and you have to dig in your pocket and you have to find money, or hopefully you can find a credit card to pay for the things that are not. I discovered while being on that website, free lunch is under the Department of Agriculture. You are looking at a recipient of free lunch. I remember my mom asking at the beginning of the school year, bring the application home. Bring the application home, make sure you return the application. And I remember we would get this little piece of flimsy thing, what is it called, Hannah? We use them at the annual meeting, not the fundraiser, those ticket things, yes. Sorry, guys. And it was so important, and Mom always said, that's why she always made sure we had pockets. Don't lose your ticket. I never fully understood the implications until one day I lost the ticket. And I stood in line. And then when it was time to hand the ticket, I couldn't find the ticket. And I said, I don't have it. And they says, then you have to get out of the line. And I remember what that felt like in that moment. And Mom, she says, I bet you won't lose that ticket again, will you? I says, no, ma'am. In this particular season of Lent and reading this parable, I found myself having so much compassion for those who make a mistake and they are not giving compassion or empathy. Honestly, you all, it made me think about the illegal immigrants. That they come, they leave their homes searching and believe that America is where they will find compassion and empathy and love and forgiveness. And yet, in the time that we're in, I don't think we're extending too much love, compassion, or empathy. And so I say to you, in this season, let us be mindful that it is in our relationships. It's not about policy or legislation, and I'm not sure if Jesus was here today, how Jesus would vote. It's not for me to decide. I can only trust in what I've learned about him in the Gospels. Let us all be mindful. We are Christians. We are to love. We are to be empathetic and compassionate beings. Amen. Let us turn our hearts to God in prayer. O Holy One, help us to admit that we are broken by fear and hate, by apathy and greed, broken by sorrow and anxiety. Mend the broken places and make them strong. O Holy One, we miss the people that used to be a part of our lives. We grieve the death of beloved ones, the dying of our friends, the estrangement from family and relationships lost because of a time of distance. Help us to put aside the past hurts, to reach out and reconnect, to reconcile. Help us to the life that lies beyond death. O Holy One, we are lost and cannot find our way home. The path we're on seems unfamiliar and frightening. We have wandered from our true self. We cannot see where you are leading us, and if you are leading us, come and find us. Rescue us from the frightening places. There is just too much, and we are so anxious about war, fires, flooding, earthquakes, about politics and division, scarcity, about loneliness. Infuse peace and serenity in our hearts. We are all locked up in some strange way, whether it is in a prison, a cell, or our culture creates places that seem to make us feel that we're unable to be free. We are bound by correctness and tradition, by habit and niceness, by norms whose usefulness expired decades ago. Free us, liberate us, release us from bondage that limits our full expression of love and faith in humanity. O Holy One, there is so much that is not right. Too many live in poverty and fear. Too many live without love. Too many live enraged. Remind us that you have claimed the world and us as your own, good and beloved and redeemed. And in one voice we offer you the perfect prayer. Our Mother, Father, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our sins, as we forgive those who sin against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. Amen. As we come to the close of our service this morning, please remain seated and join me in our blessing. As you leave this place, trust that you are made in the image of God.
So as we leave this place, we will move through this world with an open heart, with a curious mind, and with the confidence that we do not go alone. With the help of the Holy, we will do our best to believe that good news and go in peace. Jesus walked this lonesome valley. He had to walk it by himself. Oh, nobody else could walk it for him. He had to walk